Jim finally came downstairs and sat next to her on the sofa. "First of all," Peggy said, "I spoke with Bill Anderson. You know, the private investigator Detective Rausch suggested." Jim frowned. "I thought we were going to let the police see what they could come up with first." "I know, but I just wanted to talk with this guy. See what he had to say about the situation in case we need him later. I wanted to lay the groundwork." What she really wanted was to hire him right that minute, but she knew Jim didn't think it would be necessary. "So what did he say?" "He says we should have a press conference immediately, get the word out about the kidnapping." Jim nodded. "I agree." "We should try to get as much media attention as we possibly can, and we should offer a cash reward to anyone with information leading to Tyler's safe recovery." Jim looked up at the ceiling. "Did he suggest an amount?" "Not really, except that it should be substantial. I was thinking 20,000. Jim's eyes widened. "I was thinking more like 10. She'd guessed as much. She and Jim rarely saw eye to eye on money. "Someone might be more willing to take a risk for 20 than they would for 10, she said. "Well, we can decide on an amount later," Jim said. "What else did you find out?" She pulled a thick booklet from the pile in her lap. "The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children sent this to me. It describes what we need to do, step by step." Jim smiled at her and took her hand. "I think we're already doing everything we possibly can, hon." "There's a lot more we can do," she said. "To begin with, we need to badger people. The police, this national center." She held up the booklet. "I spoke with the case manager there. He's ours. He'll stick with us until Tyler's found. He said that they send out these little postcards with the pictures of children and their abductors on them to thousands of households. They get a really good response from them." "And can they do that for Tyler?" "In the future, maybe," she said. "They have a big backup, and of course the kids who have been taken by non-family members get priority. But we can be a little pushier than we have been. I'm going to call this guy every day until we get Tyler back." "Don't become a thorn in his side, though." "I won't." She set the booklet aside and looked at the notes she'd taken while talking on the phone that morning. They covered 2 sheets of legal paper. "I spoke with Detective Rausch," she said. "Susanna is now classified as a felon. They have a warrant for her arrest." Jim let go of her hand to comb his fingers through his hair. "This is getting ugly," he said. "Yes, it's ugly. But what she did is serious. The police aren't going to bother with her if we act as though it's no big deal." "You're probably right." "Bill, the PI, suggested we alert doctors and hospitals since Tyler is very recognizable by his surgical scar and the fact that he has a medical problem. But it's expensive to send out those sorts of announcements." "Well, do they work?" "I talked to Ron. He said it will work if it hits the right doctor at the right moment." Actually, her brother had said that most doctors would end up filing the flyer away or throwing it in the trash. But she didn't want to paint such a negative picture for Jim. They needed to do all they could to maximize their chances of having Tyler found. "I call that TV show Missing Persons." Jim laughed. "Don't laugh. This is the sort of thing they handle. It's just that you have to call them when they're planning a show about parental kidnappings, which won't be for a while. But I left them my name and number." Although she prayed they would never need it. Surely this would all be resolved soon. "I really like Detective Rausch," she continued. "He understands that a custody violation is every bit as serious as a kidnapping." "Is the FBI going to get involved?" "Not unless there's evidence that Susanna crossed state lines. And even then, Detective Rausch said they're not thrilled with the prospect of putting time into a parental kidnapping case. But now that Susanna's a felon, if they do figure out that she crossed state lines, the FBI will go after her for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution." Peggy had become an instant expert in parental kidnapping. "I think it's Sebastian they should be going after," Jim said. "They need to rake him over the coals. I'm sure he knows more than he's saying." "Rausch talked to him today. He made Linc go into the station for the interview, thinking it would be better if he wasn't on his home turf. But he said he didn't get anywhere with him." "I would guess the Linc's an old pro at being interviewed by the police," Jim scoffed. "What about tapping his phone?" "Rausch said it's too expensive, and the taps have to be manned 24 hours a day. But they're getting a search warrant so they can look at his phone records to see who he's called and who he's received calls from."